And if you want to see somebody get absolutely annihilated and embarrassed, I have never been a Rick Scott fan. I think he's a complete imbecile. Jake Tapper just tore him to threads and embarrassed him. Here's Rick Scott, again, trying to bend himself into a pretzel, saying that Jake Tapper should be interviewing these people. We shouldn't have anonymous sources. And then things get a little dicey for Rick Scott. Have a listen.
But these anonymous sources say these things without willing to go on your show or some show, and have you asked them all the questions?
A point that you're making here, the woman who accuses Pete of raping her in 2017, although the police, so we should note, did not charge him with any crime. That woman, Pete Hegseth, paid her money and she signed a non-disclosure agreement, so she can't come on my show to talk about it. Do you think Pete should release her from the NDA so that I can ask her the questions that you want me to?
Absolutely not. Think about it. Jake, you know
Absolutely
how many
absolutely
people?
not.
Wait, Jake. We know how many people sign non-disclosures just to eliminate something. Not that they ever did anything wrong, and he was never never charged with anything.
Do you want me to ask her questions, or do you not want me to ask her questions? I'm confused.
So I'm not going to suggest that somebody change a contract that they signed, but.
So he wants Jake Tapper. Why isn't he
a lot
questioning
of people don't
these
like
people?
The fact that he won.
Well, wait a second,
we have
Rick.
to make a change as a Department of
She's in
Defense.
an NDA. She's not allowed to.
Risk of
Oh,
war.
well,
the world's on fire. We've got to change how our Department
Oh, and the
of Defense
conversation
is run.
continues.
Yeah,
Have a listen.
He's going to do it.
I hear you, but you started this interview and saying you don't like all these anonymous accusations and I should be able to interview these people. I'm saying, okay, shouldn't Pete Hegseth release this woman from her non-disclosure agreement so that I can do what you suggested at the top of the interview you wanted me to do?
Absolutely not. I mean, some of these things are done for a variety of reasons. But look,
well, how am I supposed to interview her and have her not be anonymous anymore if he won't release her from the non-disclosure agreement?
Well, first off, there was an investigation. He wasn't charged. All right, that's exactly what happened. The police did the investigation, and he wasn't charged.
He did pay her money to be quiet, though.
So there was an investigation. He wasn't charged.
Jake, why aren't you interviewing these anonymous sources? Well, I can't because the person that accused him of rape, he paid her off in an NDA. She has a non-disclosure. Oh, well, there were no charges filed. I mean, these Republicans are such morons. They're so ignorant. And Maldonado, who, why I don't know, but he's a panelist on CNN, again, making the same claim. Well, what's up with all these unnamed sources?
Go to offices and talk to the senators. They're just on him. Look, there's a bunch of unnamed sources out there on him every day, Abby. Every day there's more unnamed sources. Pete's got to clear his name as well.
But do you know why they're unnamed?
Well, why are they unnamed?
Because Pete Hegseth has bound his accuser to an NDA. She cannot come forward because he will not release her from her NDA.
That's the one person. Julie, that's just one person,
There are people at Fox.
Well,
I'll tell you more. There are people at Fox News, or used to potentially work at Fox News, or people who are there now who may be bound by NDAs as well. They may not be able to speak, so maybe Fox News should release them from NDAs. There are plenty of people out there who I'm sure would be happy to come forward, starting with the accuser. You can't get Kavanaugh if the other side hasn't had a chance to speak. Brett Kavanaugh, his accuser, was able to come forward and testify.
How is it that Maldonado does not know this? He's a paid contributor on CNN. Rick Scott, they know this. They just play dumb on TV. And then there's Lindsey Graham, who also is playing dumb, making his appearances on Fox News. Have a listen to this.
I've known Pete for a long time. I served with him in Afghanistan. The people over there said nothing but great things about him. The allegations against Pete are all anonymous sources. I am not going to make any decision based on an anonymous source. If you're not willing to raise your hand under oath and make the accusation, it doesn't count. I've heard everything about all these people. None of it counts. No rumors, no innuendo.
But you were there for the Kavanaugh hearings.
I've seen this movie before.
Yeah, you've seen this movie before. Hey, dumbbell. Hey, dumbasses. Sean Hannity, you right-wing boob. You, Lindsey Graham. She's anonymous because she's not allowed to speak because he paid her off not to speak. You stupid a-holes, you. You imbeciles. Explain this to me. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, You're trying to get a big-time job, not the defense secretary, but let's just say you're trying to want to run a car dealership. I don't know. You're trying to be manage a restaurant. You want to become a principal. Important jobs. And you're getting interviewed, and there are allegations that you are, or you've had in the past, alcohol problems. I want you to listen to Pete Hegseth, again, speaking to Megyn Kelly here, and making the case, which is incredible. We're talking about the defense secretary position. Oh, if I get the job, I promise I won't drink. I'm not making this up, folks. Have a listen to this.
I'm not going to have a drink at all. And it's not hard for me because it's not a problem for me. But I need to make sure the senators and the troops and President Trump and everybody else knows when you call me 24/7, you're getting fully dialed in, Pete, just like you always did in Iraq and Afghanistan. So this is the biggest deployment of my life, and there won't be a drop of alcohol on my lips while I'm doing it.
I promise I won't drink. Oh, well, sign me up for that one. He's got my vote. I mean, he promised he won't drink. He still might cheat on women, and he still might impregnate a woman that he works with while married. He didn't promise he won't do any of that stuff anymore, but hey, he found Jesus. I promise I won't have a... First of all, does anybody believe this bastard? Yes, that's what he is. He's a horrible person. Pete Hegseth is a woman-abusing, horrible human being. Horrible. Look at the way he's treated women his whole life. Look at what his mother said about him, and I don't care. Are we supposed to look at some sort of performance now when his mom makes an appearance on Fox News? I'm sure she was forced to do that. Oh, well, he's a different guy now. Notice that she didn't retract anything she said. She apologized for it. She said she regretted it, but she didn't retract it. He's a different guy now. He found Jesus. Praise the Lord. All these morons claim that they find Jesus at the most convenient time, right? Oh, I'm a Christian man now. So all my stuff in the past, it all goes away. Want to know the real reason why Pete Hegseth, in my opinion, has no chance at all of becoming the press secretary? Obviously, it's because of his behavior. But I want you to listen to Richard Blumenthal, because Blumenthal was asked about this. And you won't hear these Republicans come forward. You won't hear them say anything publicly because they're afraid of Donald Trump. But they are not going to be voting in Pete Hegseth. And Blumenthal said it best. Have a listen to this exchange with a reporter.
I've talked to 5 to 10 Republicans who have said to me they're just waiting for the right moment to say no to Pete Hegseth.
Your colleagues saying that to you privately is a much lower bar than being willing to vote against him publicly or even say publicly that they won't support him. Why do you think so few Republicans, none by my count, have been willing to come out and say they will definitively not support this nominee?
Nobody wants to defy Donald Trump.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Nobody wants to defy Donald Trump. They're afraid of him. They're afraid of retribution. But in all of this, whether it be trying to appoint Matt Gaetz, who has no qualifications and had no qualifications for the attorney general position, or a Pete Hegseth, I understand he served. Millions of people have served. Doesn't mean you're qualified to be the press or to be the defense secretary. We could be talking about a Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a Tulsi Gabbard. None of these people are qualified for these positions. Some of them are a danger to our national security. It says all you need to know about Donald Trump and it blowing up in his face once again. He said he wouldn't make the same mistakes he made years ago. He can't even get these people appointed. They can't even get to the process where there's a vote. Pete Hegseth is not going to make it. Mark my words. We know that Matt Gaetz is gone already. I would say Tulsi Gabbard and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. also are going to struggle to make it. And this, again, goes back to what I say all the time with Donald Trump and his decision-making. His decision-making ability. It's abysmal. It's embarrassing. Can you imagine? Imagine you're interviewing somebody for a powerful position, fairly powerful position, I would say. And they've had drinking issues in the past. And they're trying to make a promise to you that they're not going to sip alcohol ever again. They're not going to have any alcohol ever again, at least in this position. I mean, does that comfort you? Well, yeah, I was a serial cheater. Yeah, I did drink a lot in the past, but, I promise I found Jesus now, so everything's going to be okay. This is why I'm not a very religious person. I'm not an atheist. You look at so many people in society, many on the right, that hide behind their religion. They might be bigots, they might be racist, they might be adulterers. And when push comes to shove, the excuse that they use is, well, I found Jesus. I'm a religious man now. Oh, okay. I guess everything is fine now. That's exactly what Pete Hegseth is doing. He's treated women horribly his entire life. I'm not just talking about cheating on your wife once or twice. No, I'm talking about every single woman he's ever been in a relationship with. And yes, there is a woman that accused him of rape. Law enforcement did not press charges. But the reason why she can't speak in regards to this issue where she alleges that she was sexually assaulted is because he paid her off. There's an NDA involved. He paid her off. So for all these idiots out there, like Rick Scott, who's an idiot, Maldonado, who's an idiot, Lindsey Graham, who's an idiot, what's up with all these unnamed sources? Because she can't speak about it, you imbeciles. She can't speak about it. There's an NDA. He paid her off, you morons. Rick Scott embarrassing himself with Jake Tapper yesterday. God, these guys, they curl themselves into a pretzel. It's maddening.